me Silveria, and I'm a lifetime resident of Benicia. I was born in 1943, and my husband also, Dennis, is a lifetime resident, so we're few and far between. My story today is about the Arsenal. The Arsenal during my youth was the primary employment place for people in Benicia. Your parents either worked at the Arsenal or the Yuba manufacturing, or they worked at Mare Island, which was in Vallejo. So in the early 60s, 1960 to be exact, the Department of Defense was doing a cutback, and Benicia Arsenal was one of the facilities that was slated to be shut down. So our city fathers did what they could to try to stop it, but the train had left the station, and so Benicia was, devastated. The economic future of Benicia was awful. People were leaving in droves, not only because they didn't have a job, but because they saw no future. And a lot of people, my husband and myself included, could pick up a house for just take over the payments. So there was a little bit of real estate speculation during that time, but it really wasn't on the upside, it was more on the downside. I graduated from high school in 1961 and went to work at the Arsenal. Even though it was slated to be closed, you could get a job there and get some early employment training. So I worked at the Arsenal until it actually closed. During that time, our city fathers did what they could to now there was no city government as there is today, just a council that ran the city. And these were all men that were, blue-collar working men. There was not many white-collar people in Benicia at that time. And I tell people now that's what happened when the Arsenal closed and our city fathers looked to what could be done with the land out there, and they pursued purchasing that land for the city from the government. Now, there was some people that didn't want that to happen, and it went to lawsuit over it. But the city fathers prevailed, and they went out and they recruited Humble Oil at that time to come and start a refinery. And they went and got Benicia Industries. That was a group of speculators that came in and put together the Industrial Park as we know it today. There's some controversy now over the port. They say, we're not charging a port tax and we should be charging a port tax. Well, if those people would have been here then, they would know that the reason why there's no port tax is because the city couldn't afford to maintain that port. And so they had to do what they could to keep it alive and working. So, there's reasons why things happen, and that's one of them. So as time went by, the industrial park started to grow. It took about 10 years until you really saw something happening. It was a slow start, as Mare Island today is, because of its conversion. But once it took off, it became the goose that laid the golden egg for Benicia. It brought in revenues, and that's why we've been able to grow and become what we are. When I was a young girl, it wasn't an attractive thing to come from Benicia. When we would go out of town and people would ask us where we were from, we would tell them we were from Vallejo because it was a nicer place to be from. Benicia was very poor, and our whole lower end of First Street was a red light district. So that's not something that you wanted to be tagged with. So a lot of changes have happened. Southampton was built up in the hills, and that kind of went along with the development of the industrial park. People came here to live and work in the community. Benicia changed from a blue-collar community to a white-collar community. Our children were able to go to college and be educated, and we're become a very nice place to be from, and we're proud of our community.